The Shippers Council has promised to do all it can to support boosting trade through Nigeria's inland waterways. This was as a delegation from Nigeria's Sea Link Implementation Committee visited the council to solicit support for the new management to be more involved with efforts to connect Nigeria's inland waterways to sister West Africa states. The team, led by the chairperson of Sea Link Transnational Company, Daphne Shalholma, says Nigeria can use its inland waterways to boost maritime trade, business and exports of Nigerian commodities, especially solid minerals, in an effort to earn foreign revenue.
I just knew that the British, in its wisdom, knew exactly where to go to. But we went to sleep on that and even sold it out to a single individual. Presently, it's in the hands of a single individual. But as a conglomerate, he's coming. He has been part of us since this project started because he kept on saying, come and see Bruto. So we ventured and went and saw it. And when we saw the statistics and saw the details and saw the drawings, we just knew that this is the port of the future. And all it needs is, well, some of the resources that are already being plowed in, and a lot of advocacy so that government would know. Presently, Federal Ministry of Transport and Nigerian Ports Authority are alive to that responsibility because they've even constituted a committee. The last meeting that was held, they were amazed because they went through the OBC, which has been approved by IICRC, and decided, look, let's do the FBC so that it can go to the president for approval. We have a consortium. We have an implementation committee. The implementation committee is purely advisory. So we only advise the management of NEXIM. Sometimes we are called upon by some of the technical partners and we render advice. We also advise those we have entered into MOUs with, like the Navy, the NIWA, Solid Minerals. We have engaged Nigerian Ports Authority and NIMASA, and we have engaged Shippers Council. There is no MOU we have signed in the past. The Shippers Council has not been present. What we want now is for you to be actively involved. You know, the industry is, especially our own project, it's so, each time I start speaking about it, I discover that I have not even done anything yet. You know, because there is a lot to do and a lot of people to consult. But I brought this to your doorsteps today.
What we want to do, and that's the purpose of the MOU, is to ensure there is social harmony in whatever project we do, in whatever area we are doing. In fact, we just sent a letter. Next week there will be community engagement for the environmental impact assessment. For everything that we do is in accordance with global best practices to make sure that, because at the end of the day, those facilities will be indexed for trade with international community. Just to assure all is to make sure that our operations too are going to be certified. We have just gotten our consultant for ISO certification, and also all our facilities will be ISPS coded to make sure that there is safety in cargo and in men and equipment on the channels. One of the things that we will request, and I think is part of why we are here, is for advocacy. I think NEXIM has done what it needed to do as a trade facilitating agency. But actually we are in the maritime domain, and that is the exclusive purview of the transportation sector. And I think for what we have done, we need the support of the transportation sector to really not take the lead, and that's why we are here asking for joint advocacy so that we'll take it to its logical conclusion. Yes, we have financed and funded the survey with support of Afrexim Bank, but there will be a post-survey challenge. That post-survey challenge is about the issue of dredging, issue of wreck removal, because after the survey, if the wrecks on the channel are not removed, if the channels are not charted, there won't be navigation. We want to deepen and broaden Nigerian exports. Nigeria has a lot of solid mineral deposits. They say we have 38 solid minerals in commercial quantity. But Nigeria is not a country that is recognized in the world map of solid minerals because we don't produce and we don't go to the market. We cannot go to the market because we are talking about solid minerals that is a bulk commodity. And we don't have the infrastructure that can carry that bulk commodity. It's only inland waterways that can carry that bulk. And that is why we are investing in the infrastructural development. We are investing in navigational safety so that those investments can come to be. Last December, we signed an MOU, Memorandum of Agreement, between Nexim and Afrexim Bank for $450 million. $400 million will be invested of infrastructure development for port and other facilities that is needed for both hinterland and coastal trade. And $50 million is for fleet expansion, where vessels and barges will be acquired to make sure that sea link operations is there. And this is besides the negotiations that we are having with the Norwegians and the Finnish people. What we need in the inland waterways, as we have been projecting, is that once we come in, we need not less than 200 barges on inland waterways, because we are looking at taking not less than 10 million tons of cargo annually in the first instance. And for your information, our survey and mapping is segmented into 5 segments. We are just taking care of segment 1 and 2, which is Lokoja to Onitsha, segment 1. Segment 2 is Onitsha to Burutu. But there's segment 3, which is Lokoja to Makodi. Our prayer today is that Shippers Council will continue to play the leading role in internal advocacy in the transportation sector, so that post-survey we can really have our dream of having the inland waterways and coastal trade flourish.
There is no way that any nation can be effective in its trade unless and until there is connectivity. And in connectivity, here we're talking particularly the waterways that we have. I was sitting at a lecture not too long ago, and a gentleman came who actually mapped out the waterways in this country. And to me, it was pretty amazing. I never ever thought about it like that. So from Apapa, it is actually possible that cargo can be moved into almost every nook and cranny of this country following our waterways. Once there is collaboration, once there is partnership amongst especially agencies that are responsible for promoting economic activity, this is the benefit. This is what you see. So when you ask me for partnership and support by way of advocacy, you're pretty much just singing to the choir. That is our responsibility here, particularly at the Shippers Council. And this has to do, I believe, with the fact that as the mandate of the council is essentially to protect, shippers, that we're also in a position to engage in the kind of advocacy that ultimately is to their benefit. So just take it as a given, that advocacy is what we're going to do in partnership, of course, with you. I think that we have a duty, as Shippers Council to fully get engaged and participate in the process. So not only are we going to be partners with you, I'm talking next in here, believe me, from now going forward, if there's anything and any effort that needs to be put in place that requires the Shippers Council's presence, please take it for granted. Please take it for granted that the Shippers Council will be there all the way. As a matter of fact, I want to be able to say that we are actually in the front, driving this, the project the much we can.